Hello everyone, in this video our main focus will be the leveling up part in Legion. I am very thrilled to what they have implemented with the scaling of zones and the overall individuality to come. First of all, let's start by looking at this map here. As past expansions go, there has always been this sort of linear progress system where you go from point A to point B and the zones were more or less in the level specific way and you didn't really have the choice in the matter. With this new system, you will begin your adventure by doing some introductory quests and getting your legendary artifact weapon, and then you will then be taken to your class halls once you retrieve your artifact weapon, and essentially you will get to choose where you want to start leveling. You will have 4 choices. There are 5 in total, 5 total zones, but the last one being the max level zone, level 110. The zones you can choose from is Valshera, Stormheim, Asuna, and High Mountain. Suramar is being the level 110 zone where all the end game stuff will culminate from. You can then travel back and forth to the zone as you wish and explore the various zones instead of just following a set path. It's important to recognize that everything you do in Legion from the start has something to do with your artifact weapon. Another important information is the unlocking of certain colors and skins for your artifact weapon. It is tied to the completion of a zone or a specific quest chain or achievement. Obviously, you won't have to complete all of the zones, but there will be some skin variations according to the zone. Which zones that would unlock what achievement, we don't know yet. But do yourself a favor by researching how to unlock each color and theme for your, let's say, Ashbringer, what zone you want to do first, what achievement in general, and just look at the how-to guides that are out there when the information is revealed. I will make sure to bring you as much information as I can when they are revealed to us. When you have chosen your starter zone, you will begin your journey throughout the lore and progress towards getting more powerful and getting to the end game content. But don't neglect the dungeons. There will be 5 leveling dungeons that are integrated to each of the 5 zones. And there is likely to be a lot more story and quests going on in there, and it would surely be a shame to skip them for later usage. I would recommend you trying them on several times alone and with friends to witness the artwork and just to experience the story, which there are bound to be a lot of. There might be some sentiment for you to going in them and doing them again and again, and we will have to see with future revelation from Blizzard, but I'm thinking that artifact weapons might have some story in all the different dungeons, especially in the end game. As for the zone scaling, now what did that entail exactly? As for the zone scaling, now what does that entail exactly? It means that Blizzard, instead of reshaping and making you feeling less powerful by stat squishing you, they scale the zone around you instead. An example is if you start to level in, let's say, High Mountain, your friend who logs in would like to quest together, and even you might be level 102 and him or her being a fresh level 100, you can both start doing quests in, for example, Stormheim or any of the other zones neither of you have done, and it won't feel like the one is more powerful than the other. The zone scaling is meant to be an ever-changing environment which you ideally don't know is changing. The mob for you is perhaps level 102, but for your newly arrived buddy, it's level 100, or maybe even 100, 101, just around that area. And there isn't a fixed damage variation either. The mob will appear to do more damage on you, but the case is that it's a percentage damage. Same with healing and the damage output that you do. None of you will feel less or more powerful than the other, despite the opposite new skills that you might have unlocked from the artifact powers that you might have found. And an important note here is even though you can level together regardless of levels, you won't be able to be on the same path once each of you individually has begun doing quests in any one zone. There still is and will likely always be the zoning, so not everyone is on top of each other. For example, if you have done 50 quests in Stormheim and your friend joins up with you, you won't be able to see each other due to the zoning, which has been here since Mr. Pandaria. I think maybe even since Cataclysm, doesn't matter. And having 2 specs are gone only. There are now tri-specs, you will have all 3 specs, 2 for Demon Hunters and 4 for Druids. And in the past, it has been very near to impossible to level up as a healer if you look at the higher end content of the current patches, the current expansions, if you weren't dungeon spamming. But that is something that they changed in Legion. The development team has looked into making the healer much more versatile and reshaped the specs around them to make them a viable option for leveling outside the dungeon farming. Now let's take a brief note at the reputation and profession. The days of grinding mobs day in and day out are supposedly gone. There will be reputation in Legion for various factions, but you will be giving a lot of the reputation from doing the emissary quest instead of just finding the mobs and killing them in the world like we see now. People just group up and AoE everything down in order to get reputation. That should supposed to be gone, but we will see how they will implement that. And while we're at it, we might as well just take a look at the professions and how and what we know right now. Professions will actually have a meaning again. You will be able to level up your recipes with up to 3 ranks shown as stars in this UI. Each rank requires fewer materials and has a shorter cooldown. It's not clear yet how the ranks will be earned, but Blizzard also talked about profession-based quests in the panel, hoping that there will be something implemented while you level up if you have profession learned. Similar to the mount collection interface, you can mark your favorite recipes so they will appear on the top of the list. Collector types will be happy to hear that unknown recipes will appear in the panel so you can see exactly what your character hasn't learned yet. That's I'm very excited about. And also a very, very, very good thing, gatherers will no longer have to compete for ore and herb nodes. They will be shared, so no more a top level flying around. Oh yeah, by the way, flying, there won't be flying at the beginning of Legion. You will be able to start the achievement though, so you can at a later date get the option to fly, because the world is, sorry about that, the world has been created with flying in mind. You will be able to fly in Legion, but just not yet. So, crafters will be able to disenchant unwanted item into Obliterum, a new form of material at a special forge in Dalaran. Obliterum can then be used to obtain, can be used to power up existing items for that specific profession. Major clips, they are gone, so scribes will have to make runes that provide temporary buff, such as increase your damage versus a specific boss for 1 week. You will be able to make these scrolls so you will take less damage for one targeted boss per week, for your raid group or for your dungeon group or whatever. So that's a thing, and I think that with the rating in mind, so there will be more. It's easier just to progress on it. Minor glyphs will remain, and they won't be limited to 3. You can glyph as many spells into one spell as you prefer. Archaeology is getting a month-long quest line in Legion, and fishing will also have a more adventurous component. Cooks will now get a mouth-watered bacon recipe that extends other food buffs for up to 6 hours. And your first aid will get lots of exciting new bandage-related content. I'm hoping that relates to everything, not only the bandages. But in general, Blizzard wants crafted items to feel more special. Thank God. As an example, they showed engineering goggles made of gun parts that could shoot at enemies, and a necklace that provides 50% run speed boost when the wearer is enraged. Now, taking all of this into consideration, there is something like this to end this video with on a more serious note. There already is a lot of speculation about what we will see and how things will turn out, especially with the presumable release of, let's say, Karazhan Dungeon in 7.1. All of the information that we got, there is nothing that is set in stone yet. It's very important that you understand this. Even though it's wonderful to speculate and make assumptions, it's also important to look at what information is actually given. The last thing Blizzard wants is to have another Warcraft of Draenor launch, where a bunch of content were promised to the crowd And when they couldn't deliver, people got mad and mental, really, and rightfully so. Blizzard is not gonna make that mistake again, and therefore the information we have now is very sparse at the moment. There are much more to come on a later date, so stay tuned for that. We are not done with Legion info yet. But thanks so much for tuning into my channel. There is way more Legion information to be covered, and I will do my best to keep the flow at a steady pace. If you like this video, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. This is Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. There is way more Legion information to be covered, and I will do my best to keep the flow at a steady pace. If you like this video, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. The link is on your screen now, and there are other links of interest like my Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon page below in the description. But until next time, guys, I will see you, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.